Hi, Alex.
Hey, Michelle, how you doing?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening, Tony. How are you doing?
Doing pretty good.
Hey, Alex, can we add one thing, a very minor thing? So just to kind of make it look official or have it be official, to have like an official vote that I represent the commission for this zoning case.
Sure. Let's stick that under after the BZA item.
Okay, thanks. Steven's on the other side.
Okay.
Hi, everyone.
Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
Good evening.
Pretty good.
Great. (6:29). We'll get started momentarily. This is strong.
Hello,
Hey, Rhonda, how you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right. I do not
Good.
know what's going on with my video on my laptop. If I click it off, it doesn't show my name. And it goes on and on. It's,
Well, at least we can hear you.
I know, but I don't understand why sometimes it works and sometimes.
Looks like it's trying to open up. I've got a black box for you now here.
Yeah, because
Oh, here you go.
there it is. Thank you. Yes, yes, yes. Even though I'm getting ready to step away. Lay down.
Okay, I don't see Commissioner Barry, but it is 6:30, so let's go ahead and get started. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. This is the November 9th, 2023 meeting of the Advisory Neighborhood Commission 2G. I am the chair, Alexander Padro. I'll ask our secretary to call the roll. So, secretary.
Thank you, Chair. ANC 2G01,
Present.
ANC 2G02,
Present.
ANC 2G03,
Year present.
myself, I'm here, 2G04, 2G05, not yet, and 2G06.
Here.
You have a quorum, Chair.
Great. We do have some changes to the agenda from the preliminary agenda. our State Board of Education Representative, Alistair Chang, be coming next month instead of this month, and instead we'll have a presentation from Christopher Lucas from the Office of the Senate Advocate. So that remains item number 5. And then we're going to add one item between 6 and 7 on the preliminary agenda, and that's to designate Commissioner Nigro as the Commission's representative in the BZA appeal of the 501 New York Avenue Northwest premise. So with those changes, I would ask for a motion to approve the agenda.
So moved.
I second.
Properly moved and seconded. Moved by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hands. Aye.
Aye.
And
Aye.
unanimous. Thank you very much. I see Commissioner Berry has joined us. So she's being promoted to panelist. Let's see. I see an Inspector Davis. Inspector Davis, are you here representing the 3rd District?
I think he's
I'm
DPW.
the solid waste inspector.
Ah, okay. So sorry, we'll put you back there. Did get a confirmation that we were going to have a representative from PD. Let's see who that is. If you're from the Metropolitan Police Department, would you please use the raise your hand function so that we can promote you? Here we go. Christopher Vandeman. Here he goes.
Hi, how you doing?
Doing great. Welcome.
Thank you. So I'm Officer Vandenberg. I'm with the 3rd District. I've been with the 3rd District for 12 years now. Sergeant Wallace was supposed to be on the call. However, he's tied up on a scene right now. So I'll be filling in for him today.
We appreciate it. Do you have crime statistics to share with us?
Unfortunately, I wasn't forwarded any statistics from the officials for tonight's meeting.
All right. I know that we've had a lot of crime recently in the neighborhood, so I know that there will be a number of questions from commissioners and presumably from members of the public as well. So we'll start with questions from commissioners for Officer Vandenberg. Yes, Commissioner Watkins.
Hello, Officer Vanderbilt.
Yes, ma'am.
I don't have any questions about the statistics, but I wanted to know about the PSA and the CAC meetings, the advisory committee meetings that are held the last Thursday in every month. Are they continuing through November and December? Because the last one I saw was the last Thursday in this month. It was in October. So are they going to continuing, or is there a new schedule?
Let me look at that schedule real quick. I believe there's additional dates for that. I
can basically vouch for the November meeting. They're going to have that one. They're not going to have the one in December, or they're going to reschedule it, from my understanding, from Karen.
Okay.
Oh, thank you, Tony.
Mm-hmm.
How about the PSA meetings? One of the residents in my area attended the walk with Lieutenant Romero. I think that's who it was.
Romeo, yeah.
Yeah, Romeo. Last week or a couple of weeks ago. Are they going to continue having these walks from 1 to 3 when most people are at work? Or are they planning on changing them to make them available to people who, in the evening.
Is there a better time frame that I could forward to Lieutenant Romeo to notify him and see if we could get this changed?
Oh, yes, I did speak with, made a note of this when we had a panel discussion with the new chief, that the evenings, like between 6 and 7, something like that would be more comparable to people who have to work and coming home would be,
I understand.
yeah.
I understand that. Yeah, I can reach out to Lieutenant Romeo and let him know definitely the evening times. I know during the evening hours that 5 to 6 p.m. is rush hour here in the 3rd district, so it's a little bit more difficult for the community walks to take place, but it's definitely something I can speak with Lieutenant Romeo about to see if we can change that.
Okay, thank you. Are they planning on having any of those meetings? They used to have meetings at the 3rd district, other than the CAC meetings.
That I'm not sure of. I would have to follow up with our white shirts and see what their plans are for that.
Okay, thank you.
No problem.
So Commissioner Watkins, a number of years ago, there were individual police service area meetings that were held for all the different PSAs, but in more recent years, in lieu of that, representatives from the 3rd district have been coming to commission meetings to present crime stats, answer questions, and put a public face on for NPD. So if there's a desire to try to reinitiate some of those meetings, that's something that we can pass a resolution and submit it to the commander of the 3rd district for his consideration.
That's what I was thinking about, because a lot of people don't come on Zoom, as we see, as we've seen over the months. At least I've seen over the months, people don't use this platform, and a lot of people aren't familiar with this platform. So, yeah, I would think that would be something that we could think about reinstating, having them in person instead of on Zoom at the ANC meeting.
Okay, well, we can ask our Public Safety Committee to draft a resolution for our consideration at our December meeting.
Okay, thank you. I'm sitting here reading this long email from someone on 6th Street.
Yeah, so when we're finished with commissioner questions, I will read the chat message.
All right. I'm finished with my questions. Thank you. Appreciate you coming.
Yes, ma'am.
Other
I
questions?
really do appreciate the work that they've done here in the co-op that I live in. I really do appreciate how they've stepped up the police presence and how they've gotten rid of a lot of the situation that's been going on here. All right. I appreciate that. And I think you need to take that back to whoever in your precinct, in your and let them know. I do appreciate that. And the residents here appreciate it as well. Still work to be done, but it's a big improvement. Yes. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am. I'll ensure that my commander knows about that.
Thank you. All right.
All right, other members of the commission, questions for the officer, Commissioner Brown?
Good evening, and I'm basically making almost like an announcement. We've had a rash of rear yard intrusions and even breaking into individuals' homes. I spoke with Lieutenant Fleming, and he has assured me that they have increased patrols, and particularly on the weekends, they're even bringing in additional resources from other areas of the city to assist with the level of crime that we're dealing with. So for the residents in 2G01, that is on the radar. They are addressing it. And if you have any further questions or issues, just give me an email and I'll assist you with it.
Right, Commissioner Nigro?
So just also a shout out, we've had some concerns in one of the larger alleys, the alley behind me. And I just want to thank the police because it was some mayhem for a little bit and now it's calmed down. Are you familiar with
Yes,
that?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. I believe we met once.
Was that you?
Yes. Yes, ma'am.
Too much. That was crazy. But that said, there's still some issues. I don't think I have a resolution, and maybe because the lieutenant's not on. There was something by Yale West, and there's some confusion about where it actually happened. And I'll have to touch base with him because
Okay.
it doesn't make it. Does this sound familiar? There was
I'm
like an
not really
assault.
sure what you're referring to.
Okay, well, I'll double check with him because that was kind of left over. Like, well, where did this really happen and when? And that's kind of still up in the air. But what there was, so there was though the carjacking slash robbery last week on the 400 block of M Street. Do you have
Right.
any update about that?
I believe that's still with our third district detective's office.
Yeah.
They're still looking into that. I mean, they still have to get all the camera access from that block. So I believe they're still in the investigation process with that right now.
Okay, because there was some confusion about that one, whether it's one or two events. It turned out just to be one event. But I'm glad you guys are still looking at it, and I'll follow up with the lieutenant.
Right. I mean, we're definitely actually adding more focus to that block specifically, especially that leads into the alleyway right there. There's been some US Postal
Yes.
issues with their keys being stolen.
Well,
And it all seems to be in that block right there, that 400 block of M Street.
so was it two or three times the postal person was robbed?
That
I
was
think
twice.
twice,
Twice.
yeah.
Yeah.
So again, I will ask very publicly for a foot patrol. You might not be familiar with this ask. So I've
I
asked
know.
for three.
I've actually spoke with Lieutenant Fleming about it. As of right now, we're just trying. Well, the lieutenants are trying to get more focus on that area, so we have a focus patrol in the area, but it's also shared amongst Fifth and O,
Yep.
and then also first the unit block of O. So it's kind of like that between New Jersey to North Capitol, New York to Florida. That
So
box right there.
we do have a foot patrol or we don't have a foot patrol?
No, it's a focus patrol.
Oh,
So there's an officer that's assigned to check those areas and spend time in those areas communicating with the citizens during their tour of duty.
well, can they get out of the car and continually walk around? I've been talking about this forever.
Yeah, I can definitely let Lieutenant Fleming know and see what he can do about that in reference to the evening and speak with the other officials during the other tours.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Commissioner Barry? Oops. You're muted, Commissioner Barry.
Okay, there we go. There's a lot of crime that's been happening, especially at 8th and O Street. Particularly, I really would like if you could shed some light on the shooting that occurred at Giant, and the crime that's been happening on the 8th and O Street block. I have been in contact with some of the violence interrupters and stuff like that. They've given me a little bit of insight on that, but people are still very upset and scared, especially because that happened at a grocery store.
Right.
I'll let you speak on that first.
So what I know of that right now, the investigation, those details haven't been given to me. That would be with a detective's office, and the lieutenants would know more about that. I am aware of the issues that are going on down there, and that we have two designated units. One is typically stationary within that 6, 7, 800 block of O Street, and then we also have an additional unit that's roving around that same area to pay special attention specifically to that area after that shooting, and then the one previous to that where we had the victim on the 800 block.
Okay. Well, I was told that it was juveniles and that it was crew wars between other places in DC. And I was just wondering like how, you know, like outside of having a car station there, what residents could do to feel safe. Is there any type of advice you could give people for this type of climate that we exist in? Because it's really bad on Halloween night. 3 people were injured. There was a lot of crime going on that night. A woman was stabbed.
Right.
Yeah. So like, could you speak on that? Because like, this is a very walkable city, walkable area, and things are happening to just civilians just out, you know, walking to a restaurant or walking in from their home. Is there any insight you could give to what we could do as a community or what is being done on your behalf to make sure that we feel safer?
So I would definitely recommend getting additional crime cameras in the area. If you could come together as a community to ask for a crime camera for that block. I know a lot of the high crime areas, they've been putting crime cameras in there to help us with our case closures. Also, it's kind of having the community engaged.
Interrupt
I'm
you a
sorry.
second, officer, because you've got cameras at the corners of 8th and O and 7th and O. So where else would you propose installing a camera?
That is true.
The one on
So-
Fifth and O doesn't work, by the way.
I'm sorry, what's that?
You know, yeah, it doesn't work. And like,
It doesn't work.
yeah, police officers have stopped by and told me that there's like, well, oh, well, that camera doesn't work. So they're aware that it doesn't work. Yeah.
Okay. I wasn't aware that it doesn't work, but that's definitely something I can bring up to my lieutenants and see if we can have the city come out to do maintenance to that to
Mhm.
ensure it's working.
Mhm.
But definitely the interaction with law enforcement and giving us a call and letting us know what people are seeing and where they're seeing it at. Also with the descriptions of when people do call and let us know that they may have saw a person with a weapon or somebody's doing something strange that should be investigated or looked into. The descriptions aren't ever actually there for us to be able to make a stop and communicate with anybody in the public that is causing these issues. I know that just being in patrol, that's one of our major issues is trying to get into the area, and we don't want to stop the wrong person. We want to make sure we have the most detailed lookout that we can to stop that individual and get more information on what's going on.
All right. Thank you, Commissioner Berry, for raising the question that I was going to bring up related to the shooting, which resulted in several windows being blown out at the Giant in my single-member district. I continue to hear from constituents that public safety is their number one concern right now. Folks do not feel safe. There are plenty of folks that will not go out after dark. And these are folks that of all ages and of all persuasions. We need to do better. I know that Councilmember Pinto has some legislation that the council is considering, and the mayor is also considering some other initiatives. That all takes time. So in the meantime, I guess we should do what the officer suggested and try to report when we see anything out of the ordinary taking place, try to provide as detailed a description as possible. But if you see something, say something.
Right.
Anything else from members of the commission? Commissioner Watkins, is that a legacy hand or do you have something?
No, that's a new hand. Yes, I had one question for him. You said that you have focus. You have
a focus patrol. Yes.
A focus patrol. So you said, and he's patrolling this area. What I envisioned was the 2G area. And my question is, how many are out there on a shift? Is it just one car and and another car patrolling, or is it just one car and the officers in that car back and forth patrol, not maybe on the hour, but have a scheduled time to go out and patrol. Because I haven't seen anybody, and I'm usually coming in around 6, 7 o'clock when I guess the shifts are changing. So I just wanted to know, is there a schedule, or you probably can't share with us, but how many cars or officers?
So unfortunately for the focus patrol right now, it's
Four?
one vehicle assigned with one officer, and they go to what our department calls hotspot areas that are high crime areas, or looking to, become a high crime area to prevent that. And start focusing every hour at all these different locations. So we'll go to 5th and O, and there'll be officers that get out, they'll walk around a little bit, they'll talk to anybody who's willing to talk to them, and then they'll move and they'll go to the unit block of O at North Capitol. We'll focus on Bates Street, we'll go to Florida Avenue, First and Florida as well, where the park area is at. And then we also go up to like First and Flagler, and I believe there's 6 different locations that we're focusing on where we'll spend 20 or 30 minutes walking that area, and then we'll get in the vehicle and move to the next area. And that way we can cover as much as we can while the other officers are focusing on the 911 calls coming in.
Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
Any other questions or comments from commissioners? Seeing none, we'll start with the chat. I'll read what's in the chat. My name is Boyd Stevenson, and I have lived at 1726 6th Street Northwest since 2008. In that time, I have seen crime conditions improve and regress. However, I never seen a time like the last 12 months. When I first moved to my home, it was uncommon but unremarkable to see a drug deal taking place in the alley behind my home. At no point during these years did anyone ever jump my fence, trespassing into my yard. Now it is happening regularly. I and my neighbors immediately to my north and south have called the police regularly to deal with these incursions. They have suggested increased patrols of the alley immediately west of the 1700 block of 6th Street Northwest. It has not happened. Responding officers have stated a need for crime scene analysis units or fingerprints. They have been unavailable. General suggestion has been to live with it, but by no means try and take steps to solve the matters on your own. So I'm coming to my ANC tonight asking that you liaise with the NPD, the DC Council, and the Mayor's office to take care of this matter. The bars started coming off. Sorry about that. The bars started coming off windows in DC about 20 years ago. I do not like living in the district during a time they might be coming back. Please make sure that the NPD has adequate resources to address the problem, including equipment and payroll budget to cover officers both in their cars and on foot. Once they have those resources, please hold them accountable for properly using them. So certainly, I can tell you that being a former New Yorker, I've never taken my bars down on all my windows and doors. Know that a lot of folks still have burglar alarms on their property and other security systems, which at minimum everyone should have. But yes, NPD is under-resourced in terms of its current staffing. As I mentioned previously, our Ward 2 council member and the mayor both have some legislative proposals that they're trying to move to try to make improvements in terms of public safety. The officers that we do have, as has been noted earlier, are doing yeoman work in terms of trying to be in all the places that everybody wants them to be at the same time. And as you may have heard, we do have a focus unit. That focus unit is one officer in one car that can spend half an hour in one of each of the 6 different locations that are identified as hotspots. That's not a lot of resources. So we definitely, I think everyone on this commission is is acutely aware of the challenges that are currently in place, and we are actively engaged to the extent that we can be with both our higher elected officials as well as NPD, trying to get additional resources from them. There's also in the chat from Grace Reeder from the mayor's office. NPD is also leading weekly public safety walks in each police district. I just attended one yesterday with Lieutenant Miller around 12th and M Streets. I'll be sure to share upcoming walks that take place in 2G. So now let's go to other members of the public. We'll start with Chika Kapil. Go ahead.
Hi, good evening, everyone. Thank you for your time and attention to these matters. Boyd Stevenson is my neighbor directly south of me. And so we all just live on the same block. And I think our concern is that we've been experiencing escalating trespasses over the past month or so, where people have broken into our backyards and moved things around. And last Sunday, somebody actually broke into my house, and my alarm system worked and went off, and the cops arrived, and it's been escalated. There's a detective on the case, but you can imagine that I don't feel safe in my own home, and we haven't slept here in the last couple weeks while we're waiting for bars to be installed. But this is just really concerning, and even in the 2 years that I've lived here, I've never experienced anything like this. And my real concern is just for our own personal safety, because these trespasses seem to be escalating. And I just I'm not sure like really what the concrete steps are that we can take to address these things. Because the reality is, if somebody tries hard enough, it doesn't matter how many cameras and alarms you have installed personally, they're going to be able to get in.
That's true. If people want to get in, they're going to make every effort to. But when you have cameras installed and you have a security system with a alarm that sounds rather than a silent alarm that just goes to a company, it's more likely to draw attention from neighbors and have that person be more deterred from entering into the house. I know there's a lot of success with people that have audible alarms rather than the silent alarms. Also, I'm not sure if the city is still doing it, but I need to speak with my officials in reference to, I believe the Ring camera. The city was reimbursing it at one point in time for citizens to do a rebate program with the Ring camera and go through their security alarm as well.
Well, yes, my understanding is that there still is a rebate program that is available.
There is? Okay.
Commissioner Barry?
What is the process for requesting a official camera, like on a lamppost? Like if residents want to get together, say, we need a camera here on this block, who should they contact? What should they do?
When it comes to that, you would have to go through, I believe our commander would be able to assist with that, to have the city come out in reference to it. If you follow up with Commander Bowler, he may be able to get that. Are you talking about the 5th and O, the camera that's not working, or an additional camera?
And places like where there's no camera. Like I know there's been construction on 9th, 8th O Street block right there. So a lot of those lampposts came down. There's not even parking signs on on a cat corner of that block. So possibly if a camera is there, maybe that might be helpful.
Right. I mean, we do have access to mobile cameras that they'll put in areas. It's not a permanent fixture, but for the time being, they'll usually set them up for several months at a time in that area, and then they move them around where they're needed. But that's definitely something you could follow up with the lieutenants and commander with the 3rd District.
Okay, thank you.
So I see that Brian Romanowski from Councilmember Pinto's office has put in the chat a link to the NPD website, information about the closed circuit television cameras. So you might want to see that FAQ. All right, any other comments or questions from members of the public? Please use the raise your hand feature, or if you're on the phone, use *69. Again, questions for Officer Vandenberg from the 3rd District. Going once, going twice. All right, no additional questions for you, Officer. Thank you very much for making yourself available this evening, and we look forward to having representatives from the 3rd District regularly at our meetings. Unfortunately, for the 2 previous meetings where we were not able to get representatives. But, we understand that sometimes emergencies occur, but thank you for stepping in for the sergeant.
No issues. Thank you for having me.
All right, let's move on to the mayor's office. Grace Reader.
I saw a note where she said she's going to have to leave.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me okay?
Yes, we can.
I'll try to keep it as short as possible because I do have another community event that I have to get to soon, but I want to make sure I have time to give you updates and answer any questions you have for me. So I'll keep it as brief as possible. So if you haven't heard yet, the council yesterday confirmed Chief Pamela A. Smith to lead MPD, which we're really excited about. And they also confirmed 6 other agency directors. So I'll send a link to that press release for you all in the chat. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and today Mayor Bowser and the Department of Human Resources hosted a veterans hiring affair at MLK Junior Memorial Library. That was really well attended, and there was a lot of on-the-spot job offers that we were really excited about. It was a free event, and there was great turnout, so we were really excited about that. Also, tomorrow at the MLK Junior Memorial Library, there is a Veterans Day concert with the U.S. Navy Band that starts at 1 p.m. And we're really excited about that, as well as to have the U.S. Navy Band and the National Museum of the United States Navy there to enjoy a free day of music to celebrate our veterans. Additionally, in the summer, Mayor Bowser announced a program for dash cams for rideshare and mobile delivery drivers. And this program was announced earlier this year and was funded in part by a $500,000 investment from DoorDash. We have 2 distribution events. One took place on Tuesday, and the next one will take place on Tuesday, November 14th from 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. at RFK Parking Lot 3. I'll send more information in the chat for you all to have that. But if you know anyone who is a rideshare or mobile delivery driver, this is a really awesome program that provides these dash cams free of cost as long as they're a district resident. Additionally, as 2G knows, or should know at least, we have started leaf collection. The Department of Public Works started collecting leaves on October 30th. 2G was in section A in Ward 2. And we will start section B on November 12th. So if you're in section B, you should currently be receiving door hangers. You can call the DPW leaf pickup line at 202-671-LEAF or 671-5323. There is also an online tracker that is updated every Friday. If your leaves have not been collected after 8 business days after DPW has announced collection has started in your section, please then open a 311 request for leaf collection missed, and be sure to send me an email as well so I can flag that up to DPW. Other than that, I will take any questions you have, and happy to be here with you all. Again, my name is Grace Reader, and I'm the Ward 2 liaison for the Mayor's Office of Community Relations and Services.
Mr. Magro, you've got your hand up.
So, Grace, this whole leaf business thing is confusing still. So I was out of town, but I received an email last week. If we're in A, right? You're saying that the
Mhm.
A group was supposed to be taken care of already? Because it wasn't
So it's
taken.
currently being taken care of. So if you're in section two, A in Ward 2,
Yeah.
which is on in the online tracker, I believe almost all, if not all of 2G is in section A. There might be a few slivers of you that are in section B, but leaf collection was taking place or is taking place from October 30th to November 12th. On November 12th, they will start section B, and that's when section B should have leads to the curb. 2 weeks before your section starts pickup, you should receive door hangers. If you did not receive door hangers, please let me know about it, as well as they will be doing a second round of leaf collection later in the year, or late in after all of the sections have received a first pass. So
Okay.
if there are neighbors or addresses that you know have not received leaf collection and they're in 2A, send me an email or send me a text so I can flag that.
So I feel I'm going to have to do what I've always done, is literally walk the streets and then say, okay, this wasn't done after the 12th. Is
So
that the deadline?
that should not be the case. I also was walking in 2G on Tuesday, and I saw that there was a lot of leaves collected. I also know that there's still leaves on trees, and I obviously couldn't get to all 6 of your SMDs in one day, but I did get to 2G01 and 2G02, and I didn't see any problems there. But again, please let me know if someone has not received leaf pickup so I can know about it. They made changes this year to the program as a result of community feedback we received from last year and subsequent years. So we're always trying to grow and improve. So your feedback is really important in making sure that leaf collection goes smoothly going forward.
Okay.
So we hope this is a better program, but if there are issues, please, please, please let me know about it. My email is grace.reader@tc.gov.
All righty. Thank you.
I can confirm that they were here in 2G01.
Awesome.
Any other questions from commissioners? Commissioner Berry, is there a hand up? Go ahead.
Grace, is there anything that the mayor's office is doing regarding Thanksgiving for those who are less fortunate? Is there anything happening, any events that you can bring up during this time?
I will have to look at some of our press releases that are forthcoming. We always have a ton of community events, but I'll have to look specifically for one centered around Thanksgiving. I know the convention center, Events DC, is partnering with Safeway. I can send you some information about that. I believe it's called Feast of Sharing, I think. I'm not sure if you have a representative online from Events DC, so I don't want to take their update, but I can share that information with you.
Okay.
Anything else for Grace Reader from the mayor's office before we go to the public?
So Solana is online from Events DC. She's going to talk about the Feast of Sharing. Didn't want to steal her thunder since I figured she would be on to update you all.
So that any members of the public that have a question for the representative from the mayor's office, please use the raise your hand feature or *69 if you're on the phone. Again, questions for Grace Reader from the mayor's office of Constituent Relations and Services. Going once, going twice. Okay, looks like we don't have any other questions for you this evening, Grace. So thank you for taking the time to keep us informed.
All right, thanks everyone, and I hope you all have a pleasant holiday season, spending time with your families. Have a good one.
Thank you, you as well.
Thank you.
All right, next, Brian Romanowski from Ward 2 Council Member's Office.
Hey everyone, good to see you. I'm just gonna share my screen. Oh, maybe I cannot. Can you allow me?
Enable that. Hold on a second. Go ahead.
Okay. Okay, can you see the presentation?
Yes, we can.
Okay, great. Well, as you all know, Councilmember Pinto's top priority is improving public safety. It continues to be the top concern we hear about from residents across Ward 2 and all of DC. As almost all of you know, Councilmember Pinto recently completed public safety walks in all 8 wards, meeting with business owners, residents, community organizations, and the ANCs in their neighborhoods to hear exactly what issues they're facing and what interventions the council can make. We're especially thankful to all of you in 2G for attending the Ward 2 walk and for providing really important insights and feedback as we talk to neighbors in the neighborhood. One of Councilmember Pinto's key takeaways from these public safety walks is that her Secure DC plan to improve public safety will address a lot of the concerns that we've heard about. As part of her plan, which I know I went into detail last month, she recently held a joint public roundtable with Chairman Mendelson and Councilmember Bonds on DC's violence prevention efforts and coordination with these programs. The city administrator, the deputy mayor for health, for public safety and justice, and the Office of the Attorney General's Chief of Violence Reductions Unit all were there and provided testimony on behalf of the government, along with numerous violence interruption specialists, community organizations, faith leaders, and members of the community. One of the top things we heard about was the need for increased resources and coordination between the different violence interruption programs, which the city administrator did commit to. And he also announced the launch of a new 211 system, again, a 211 system to provide quick referral resources and supports to loved ones who are seeking help for a child or family in need. If you think that somebody might be at risk of, going down the wrong path in life, into, some sort of crime, doing something involving crime, you can now call 211, and that number is operational as of, I think, Halloween. They have when you call now, it will, connect you with different social services. There's an operator that will come on after the automatic message plays, very similar to 311. And this is intended to be a quicker way for people to access social services, and especially to help our young people who before they become involved in the criminal justice system, since we know that's such a big issue right now. And a lot of times we'll hear from parents who will say, I knew my child was headed down the wrong path, but I didn't know what to do. So this is intended to be a quick way to say you can call 211, and 211 will help give you some answers to what you can do. The next hearing for the Judiciary Committee is going to be on the mayor's Act Now proposal, and that's on Wednesday, November 29th. There are going to be hearings on the rest of the Secure DC plan continuing for the next few months. Hopefully, the rest of this year at least, and get as many of them in as quickly as we can so we can get some votes on this legislation. If you do feel strongly about improving public safety, as I'm sure you all do, we do ask that you sign up to be a witness for any of these hearings. You can also email judiciary@dccouncil.gov. And I encourage you to contact your at-large council members to make sure that that they know that you support Secure DC and that you want to improve public safety in DC. A few non-public safety updates. So I met with KIP's Shaw campus, DDOT, DPW parking enforcement, and MPD on Monday at 3:15 to watch the chaos that is parent pickup from the Shaw campus on P Street between New Jersey and 5th. So we are working on various ways to reduce the traffic and road rage that's taking place there. And I know it happens in the morning at drop-off time too. So I think the main takeaways are that parking enforcement is going to increase during those hours. But we know that that can't be the only solution. There is a lot of double parking and bad behavior. But KIP is going to look into their procedures and make sure that that they can maybe find ways to reduce the amount of time that parents need to be out of their cars, because a lot of times that's what is causing an issue, is they get out of their car to go sign their child out and it takes 20 minutes or so, and it just causes a big traffic nightmare. And then we're also working with DDOT on installing a second raised crosswalk, hopefully where the other on the east side where the school entrance is, right across from the staircase up to Bundy Field and Dog Park, where there's a parking lot that a lot of parents tend to park in as well. So there's been a lot of kids sprinting across the street there very unsafely. So another raised crosswalk is in the works, hopefully. And then they're talking about potentially a center line flex posts, like yellow flex posts in the middle to prevent U-turns, illegal U-turns are a major issue that's happening with this. So there's a lot of moving pieces, but I just wanted to make sure you all were aware of that. I know it's been an issue for years, and sometimes it's been worse on 5th Street, but lately it seems to be worse on P Street because I think that the 5th Street side, they figured out how to use the school's parking lot to allow the preschoolers, the younger kids, to be picked up and dropped off in there. Also wanted to share an update on the S Street. I'm going to stop sharing screen so you can see me. Actually, can't see me. Okay. I also wanted to share an update on the S Street revitalization project, which has begun. This is a project that ANC 2G and your predecessors in 6E, I guess, advocated for and Councilmember Pinto funded. So the work apparently started on Monday, and they're going to be working on S Street, S is in Sam, between 7th and New Jersey Avenue, and on 6th Street from Rhode Island Avenue to S Street. And as a reminder, this work is generally focused on improving the sidewalks, making them wider because right now they're not ADA accessible or particularly safe. And then also on water management, which we know is a big issue around here for stormwater, as well as other improved streetscape elements. I'll post, or I think I already posted a link in the chat for the project website where you can stay up to date on the project. Traffic impacts right now should mostly be on 6th Street. That's where they're doing the beginning of their work, is the 6th Street portion, so that one block between Rhode Island and S Street. And the project is going to take a while. It's not expected to be done until summer 2025. So expect some traffic impacts for the foreseeable future. I also wanted to make sure you remember trash collection slides from tomorrow to Saturday in observance of the Veterans Day holiday. So anyone that has residential trash collection, please be aware of the slide. I know Grace gave a good update on leaf collection, and I posted in the chat. Just wanted to make sure that you saw that, yes, 2A, you're all section 2A. I believe it's from New Jersey Avenue to 13th Street. So you all should be in leaf section 2A, which I know is confusing with the ANC names also being numerical like that. But if you do think that your collection was missed, you should submit that to DPW via 311 with the various ways you can submit leaf collection missed to them. I do think that a lot of folks are still confused in general about leaf collection. I see a lot of bags on the sidewalks that I don't think people are submitting to 311. So just a reminder to anyone that's on, if you bag your own leaves, you have to bag them in a paper bag and you have to submit a 311 request for DPW to pick it up. They will not just pick it up with your collection the way that they used to before the pandemic. They made a change. Well, they made a lot of changes, as you probably all are aware. But that is something that has stuck around, is that that's considered scheduled yard waste. So you have to submit a scheduled yard waste collection. If you bag your leaves in plastic bags, they will not pick them up at all. That's not considered yard waste. That's considered garbage for them. The reason is that the paper bags, I guess, are compostable. And so the plastic bags are not. And so it would ruin the compost piles. So if you decided to bag it in a plastic bag, you can throw it out in your regular garbage and they'll collect it that way, but they will not collect it if you leave it at the curb. So I try when I'm walking around as well to report these things to 311, but I know a lot of people just don't know about that. So please try to spread the word to your constituents and your neighbors. And I think that's probably everything I want to say about leaf collection. And I think that's probably all for me. So I'll just be happy to take questions now.
Commissioner Nigro.
Hey, Brian. So, the 211 not too long ago, or maybe it never ended, was always, you could ask about social services. And then, but honestly, it just went to 311 technically. So are you telling me right now it's different?
It is, yeah. So I tested it earlier tonight to make sure it was working. So when you call it, it will first say, do you have a police it says if there's an emergency, call 911, I think. If there's a police non-emergency, please stay on the line or press, a certain number for police non-emergencies. If you need to be connected to, I forget, there's one other option. It says for child protective services, I think it said press this number. And then it says, if you would like to speak to 211 and be connected to social services, please stay on the line. And so I mean, again, the call takers are probably the same, right? So I don't know the big difference there, but hopefully that whoever's answering the 211 number has a more specialization or a specialized script that they're supposed to be saying to everybody. And they know exactly where to send people for 211 specific issues. So I think,
but I don't think there is no difference then.
I think they're supposed to be more specialized.
Okay, all right.
And again, I didn't connect to anybody, so I didn't speak to a human, but because I didn't want to waste anybody's time. But that's my understanding, and it is.
I'll try it.
first month, yeah. So be patient with them, but give them feedback, as I'm sure you will. So please let them know what's not good about it.
Commissioner Brown?
Just wanted to follow up on that leaf collection thing. I have had a couple reportings in some of my area that some of the neighbors have basically collected not only leaves but other things and put them in other people's alleyways. It's become a problem right around 10th Street. So anyway, we're putting out a notice, and I think Mr. Davis is on to address that as well. But you know, that has become an issue too. People are putting their trash in somebody else's yard.
Okay, yeah, I know we're all familiar with that area and the trash issues that go on there. And sorry, Inspector Davis, I didn't mean to steal your thunder on leaf collection as I might have done. But I will remind you that they do not collect from alleys. So if you have leaves in your alley, you're responsible for bringing them to the front of your property or putting them in bags. You can also take the bags to Fort Totten. I should have mentioned that, the Fort Totten transfer station, if you have the means to do so, and you don't want to wait for any collection. And then I think some people don't know who's eligible for collection. It's the same as trash collection. So if you have residential trash collection and recycling, they will collect your leaves. But if you are in an apartment building that's more than 3 units or a condo building, whatever it may be, they will not. So that is generally the rules, I think.
Commissioner Watkins?
Yes, I didn't want to talk about leaf collection, but I don't know if you're the person I should be addressing in terms of the Kennedy wreck and the status on that, the update on that. What's going on with that? Because I have seen people inside.
Yes, Kennedy Rec Center, last we talked to DPR and DGS. They told us that work is underway finally, so that's good. And I have seen workers in there in the mornings. They told us that I think their anticipated timeline is probably a little bit longer than we'd all like. I think they said like spring at some point, and I know we thought it might be done, even hopefully this winter was our thought, but I think they told us spring. We were waiting to get a written response from DPR and DGS on that to make sure that it's in writing, but verbally, I believe they told us probably late spring now, which is not, I think, I should say, Councilmember Pinto, when she spoke to both directors, said, this is urgent, that this rec center is reopened. We have tons of public safety issues in this area. And both directors, especially Director Friedman from DPR, said, no, I'm well aware of the issues in the area. We are doing everything we can to get this project moving and to get it complete. So, I'm personally quite aggravated about it as well, because I don't think it's happening fast enough, but that's what we were told. So, but thank you for that question. I should have given you that in my regular update.
Is there anything written, or do you have anything that's showing any programs or anything that's going to start taking place once the center is back up? Any additional programs or meeting space added? Do you have any information like that? I don't have any information, so I'm asking, is there anything available?
Yeah, I don't think they've made any of that public yet, but I can certainly ask them to send that to you, because I know they have plans for even e-gaming with young people. They were talking about
So could we be part? Can we be part of that program planning?
Yeah, I mean that makes sense to me, and I know maybe Friends of Kennedy Rec also is involved in that, but I'll follow up with you on that with DPR staff.
Thank you.
So I'll add that the Friends of Kennedy, of which I'm the president, is very concerned about the fact that we haven't had any clear information from DPR about what programming is going to be added at the center once it reopens. The presence of the roving leaders there and its facilities used as their headquarters has been not a benefit to the community. It has been to the detriment of the community. There are many fewer opportunities for residents to be engaged, and that includes youth that are at risk and seniors. So we're very eager to hear what it is that the DPR is planning to do, and hopefully get the damn roving leaders out of Kennedy permanently.
Yeah, I'll take that message to them as well. And I just double checked my notes. They said early spring 2024 for completion of the project.
Commissioner Barry.
At Councilmember Pinto's walk, I met some of DP they were there. They were just joining the walk, and one of the person who was over programming, she was there, and I spoke with her briefly, and they are creating programming as we speak. And they were talking about how the website isn't really, necessarily user friendly. So they're trying to create programs that they think youth would really be interested in attending. They have a very thriving senior program. However, the seniors that attend are, repeat seniors. It hasn't been the way that they get information out. They haven't marketed to the entire community. So the entire community of seniors are not aware, but they do have a lot of activities that take place. I think the problem is that by the time we find out that there's something going on, it's already occurring, so we can't be a part of it. And they seem to be locked in with their plans. They're like, oh, well, we already have this plan, maybe next year. So I really love the Kennedy Recreation Center. Being there, I wish that they would be open to and receptive to working with us so that we could share and get the information out to the community, and that more people could feel like they could use the center instead of just the same repeat people who tend to go to the center. So, but I did hear that they were working on it, and that it was coming along nicely, the renovations. So.
Thank you. Yeah, I totally agree with you, and I'm hopeful that with a refreshed and new space with these rooms, especially getting redone, it'll help be a draw for new people, but also, like you said, we have to make sure that the programming is attracting different folks.
Yeah.
There are no other questions from members of the commission. We do have some questions in the chat, and some folks that are also asking to be recognized. There are some questions related to the S Street revitalization project. We do have a presentation from the District Department of Transportation about the S Street revitalization coming up this evening. So I think we can.
No, sorry, I didn't mean to steal there from.
No, that's not a problem. The question about leaf collection. Leaf collection has blown unwanted leaves in the yards of neighbors. Is there a program to provide paper bags for leaf collection?
There is not, unfortunately. DPW's website says no residents are expected to have paper bags for their yard waste collection. So sorry.
Okay, and then Ms. Capil has her hand up. If you would like to unmute.
Hi, just a question about the Kennedy Rec Center. I know this sounds like something trivial, but is it possible to turn the tennis court lights on, not just for playing tennis purposes, but it really casts a lot of light? I compare it to like the Banneker Court, just a little bit up the street, and that area is also like very well populated, but very well lit. And I think that might help sort of both the safety issues and the engagement issues in the area.
Yeah.
It seems like an easy fix.
Thanks, Shika. Yeah, that's a great idea. I didn't even know that they were not on, so I'll check with DPR to see why they're not on in the first place and if they can get them on. And I've had redoing those tennis courts has been on our short list for budget priorities too, because we've heard a lot of complaints about the actual quality of the courts there.
So any other members of the public, please raise your hand or use star 69. I don't see any other hands going once, going twice. Well, thank you, Brian, for. Oh, well, one question. Is there a training program for the leaf blowers? It makes no sense that leaves are being blown into yards. So I guess
not that I'm aware of. Especially if
perhaps Inspector Davis might be able to shed some light on that. So if there are no other questions for Brian, and I don't believe they are. Thank you, Brian, for being part of our meeting this evening. And I'll actually ask Inspector Davis if he'd like to comment on any of the DPW issues that were raised earlier.
Hello, everyone.
Good evening, Inspector.
Okay, I'm gonna respond to the leaf blowing. Everyone, they are shown how to use the blower, but it's very difficult to prevent leaves from flying all over the place when you're using leaf blowers. It just unfortunate that the leaf, because they don't face the yards, they're facing the street. They're blowing it into the street. And we are also blowing the leaves off of your cars. So they're working on when they get on the cars, we are blowing off the cars, but it's very difficult to prevent leaves from flying into yards or flying all over the place because they're using blowers. It's just unfortunate. But you can bag it up, the city will pick them up. Also, I would like to speak on, I hope our residents to be kind of patient with us because we have vacs. We have these big, large equipment coming down the street and we have people trying to go around them. We have people that's blocking. Just be kind of patient with us because those vehicles, we don't want anyone to get injured. We don't want anyone car to get damaged trying to go around those vehicles. You know, they're very large and they have a vac on the back of them. And these guys driving, they do have a blind side also because of that vac in the back of them. So we ask that everybody be patient with us because we're just trying to get the leaves up. And I also would like to speak on we're having some issues with people putting their leaves bags by the litter cans. That is not acceptable. You can't pack up your leaves and put them by. And I'm sorry, Commissioner Brown, I couldn't get back to you with the email because they detailed me to leaf season. So that's what I'm doing right now. I was on 10th and French. Stacks of bags of leaves, bundles of yard waste around a litter can. Those guys are not going to collect that from that litter can. They will sit there until someone see it or someone call for a illegal dumping. You also can be fined for littering when you put that kind of stuff around a litter can if you're found to be responsible for it. So I understand they may be cleaning that park area. I think it's like a park there. Yes, you could contact Parks and Recs. I think DGS is responsible for that park. They probably can assist you with that. Or if you're doing that, at least call and schedule for the bags to be collected. And the city will still come and collect it. You can just say your address and they'll come and collect it from that address. And yes, we pretty much we completed you're going to see some leaves because I went up 5th Street myself. 5th Street looked like we never touched it because the leaves falling off of the tree. We coming around the second time, we having a second round, but I just want everybody to know that some of those areas going to look like we haven't been there because leaves are still on the tree and they're falling down. We should be working into B, like said, next week. We are working tomorrow and possible Saturday. So we're trying to get. I think we're doing really good. Me personally, I've done this about 3 years. This year seems to be really moving fast. It may not seem it to our residents, but for us who have done it, it seems like they're doing pretty good compared to last year. I can say that for sure. The leaves, I think the leaves was more heavier last year, but still not an excuse. But this year, we got some younger. I'm gonna say this: we got some younger people now that are out there, and these guys and Garrett and ladies, they are working hard. I have to put it out there. They're working hard, trying to get the leaves up. So I just want everybody to be mindful on that situation and put alley cleaning and street cleaning is closed. They're closed. The service requests are closed. That's not saying if you have a legal dumping issue, they will come out and still remove any illegal dumping. So they will send another inspector out since I've been detailed to come out and inspect that situation for illegal dumping. If anyone have any questions, I'm gladly to answer them.
There's a question in the chat. Can we have weekly leaf collection similar to street cleaning?
No, because technically leaf season, this is a courtesy that the mayor does. Leaf collection is a violation. Cleanup of leaves is a municipal regulation that residents supposed to collect their leaves and bag them. That is a regulation that states that residents are responsible for that. Like, we don't pick up for commercial in commercial districts. They have to do that. This is something that the mayor does for the residents to because of when leaf season starts. But technically, it's a resident's responsibility to bag their leaves.
All right. Any other questions for Inspector Davis? Anything else about leaf collection?
Just wanted to thank him for all the hard work, all the hard work he's doing. Thank you so much, Inspector Davis.
Thank you.
Mhm.
Raise your hand or use star 69 if you're on the phone. Sharonda Watkins.
I don't have a question for Inspector Davis, but I just got a text message from somebody that one of the participants stating they had a question for Brian, but their hand weren't recognized. Is he still on?
Brian is still on. I'm trying to see. There are no hands raised.
Yeah.
So if the
You
person
see,
if the person would like to
Right.
use
Yeah.
the raise your hand function or star 69 if they're on the phone, we'd be happy to ask them to unmute, but there are no hands raised right now.
Thank you.
I also want to ask Commissioner Berry, did you actually get the information I sent back about being able to put the signs up? How the regulation is written for the signs to be placed?
Yes,
Okay.
thank you for bringing that up. General Counsel of the OANC, she got back with me regarding that. And she said, I can post signs. There's a time frame that I need to post it, figure out how to post it using some type of string or where I'm not, damaging the paint on the post. That if it must have a date on it, and it has to be removed 30 days after it is posted, at least.
Okay, I'm glad, because I sent that. I went through the regulations and reread all of those regulations, and I sent it to her.
Right. I haven't posted because I've been scared to be fined. I don't want to be fined.
I don't try to find our commissioners.
That's
why I reach out. I reach out to all our commissioners. I'm not in the business of finding our commissioners that's out here doing wonderful work for the community.
And I know you're just doing your job, but I think it's important that people come to these meetings. And so like when we have information to give people and we want them just to show up and just to get the information so they can be informed and make proper decisions, like I'm really not coming for you. I'm just trying to advocate for the people who need to be here, because everyone's excuse after everything happens is, oh, well, I didn't know, or no one told me. We just had this walk with Councilmember Pinto and everyone was like, well, I don't see a sign, or, I'm not on social media, so I can't be informed that way. And so, it's very important that we be able to advertise in that manner.
Yeah. And the reason why I have to say this, the reason why I wanted to explain that is because what happens is then we get phone calls, like I told you before, from community, because they say, well, I can't do it, or why is that up there? And that's what that's where that comes from. But I'm glad we got this all worked out and
well, there's a simple explanation as to why we're not selling anything and we're informing the community of community events. So that, maybe you could use that, tell them that it's for the community.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Inspector Davis. We don't have any other for you. I do see that Ibrahim Mukman would like to ask Brian a question. So go ahead, Mr. Mookman. Please unmute and ask your question. Mr. Mookman. Oh, well, sorry. We'll ask you to unmute one more time.
I can connect with him offline. I have his phone number.
All right. Thank you for that. There was another question about Kennedy Rec Center. Is there a way to get more information on the Kennedy Rec Center project? Are they going to fix the playground? I'm going to suggest that we actually invite the Department of Parks and Recreation to give us a presentation, since so many questions have been raised about the Kennedy Recreation Center, about the renovations, about programming, etc. So hopefully we will be able to have a robust discussion with them at a future ANC 2G meeting. I think that's all that we have for you, Brian. Thank you. Let's see if Solana Vandernat is still with us from Events DC. Go ahead, Ms. Vandernat.
All right. Good evening, everybody. My name is Solana Vandernat. I am the Senior Community Engagement Manager for the Convention Center. I'm happy to serve as a connection point between you and Events DC. Please feel free to reach out if you have any questions. I've already put my contact information in the chat. As a reminder, to learn more about Events DC, our programs, initiatives, and other opportunities, visit eventsdc.com. If you have not already done so, please sign up for our electronic mailing list and follow us on our social media platforms. This information is in the chat as well. For the November Convention Center event calendar for the rest of this month, we have 5 upcoming events at the Convention Center, 2 single day and 3 multi-days. I would like to highlight 2 of these events. This Friday, tomorrow, November 10th through Wednesday, November 15th, the Society for Neuroscience Annual Convention will be held with an estimated attendance of 25,000. And on Wednesday, November 22nd, the 24th Annual Feast of Sharing will be with us with an estimated attendance of 5,000. Regarding the upcoming Feast of Sharing, a Safeway Feast of Sharing is one of the district's most meaningful Thanksgiving traditions, created to serve a complete seated turkey dinner to thousands of our city's residents in need, many of whom are unlikely to have one otherwise. Beyond a holiday meal, the event offers a health and community services expo, a clothing giveaway, and more. Volunteer registration for the 24th Annual Safeway Feast of Sharing presented by Events DC is open with the support of our community partners, including the Salvation Army, who is handling volunteers. Something to note, volunteers must sign up by Monday, November 20th. And if you are interested in volunteering, please sign up. And that link to volunteer is in the chat. Thank you for letting me join this call. Please let me know if you have any questions.
All right, commissioners, any questions for Ms. Vandernat from Events DC? Seeing none, any questions from members of the community? Please use the raise your hand feature, or if you're on the phone, use *69. Going once, going twice. No questions for you, Ms. Vandernat. Thank you for sharing the information about upcoming programs and the Feast of Sharing. That's always a great event.
Yes, we're looking forward to it. And it is the first time back in person since the pandemic. So we're really excited. So again, all the information to volunteer is in the chat already. So we encourage everyone to do so if you're able to.
Great. Thank you.
All right. Thank you. Have a good night.
And have a good holiday.
Yes, you too. All right. Bye.
I don't believe that we have any other district government representatives for announcements. If there are any, please use the raise your hand feature. But if not, we'll move on to Christopher Lucas from the Office of the Tenant Advocate for a brief presentation. Lucas.
So,
Yeah.
so thank you all. Thank you, Commissioner Pedro, for allowing us to give you an update, updated presentation. I'm going to share my screen. I'm a little under the weather, so I'm going to try to like paraphrase this stuff, being that I recognize a lot of you. You all know that the Office of the Tenant Advocate is primarily a legal agency in the District of Columbia. We've been around since 2006. And we have the longest standing director, Ms. Joanna Shreve. We consist of 4 different divisions. That's our legal, policy, temporary housing, and education outreach. Our legal division provides brief legal services to tenants, both to help them with their pro bono efforts, as well as to refer them to outside counsel if needed. Our legal branch, we only have one number, as I'm pretty sure most of you all know. But if any tenants have any issues, we please encourage them to call directly to 202-719-6560 concerning any issue such as eviction, rent increase issues, lease related questions, housing code violation issues, tenant association issues, especially TOPA and TOPA rights, and enforcing other tenant rights. Our policy division works with government and community partners, including the mayor, council, the ANC, and other stakeholders to develop policies to strengthen rental policies for tenants in the District of Columbia. Education outreach, we develop educational materials, classes, as well as tutorials on issues important to district tenants and participate in community events and activities. Our education and community outreach, we are spearheading trying to really increase the number of tenant associations in the District of Columbia and really point out to tenants the true value and power of tenant associations in the District of Columbia. We will come out, we will do virtual trainings, but we will also come out to the buildings and do trainings and classes. And so if any of your residents, any of your constituents need help with forming or sustaining a tenant association, it's the same number. Please have them call 202-719-6560 and request the OTA's education outreach team to contact them. Just a couple of little notes. I'm pretty sure some of you already know this in your area because we really work with a lot of your constituents. 17. I think somebody messed that number up. But anyway, we do tenant association classes. A host of different classes for just basic tenants like lease 101, how the OTA works, housing code violation, renters rights classes, eviction prevention classes. They can also go onto our website or our YouTube channel for our tutorials, our temporary housing program. Even though we definitely like to tote that we're one of the only jurisdictions that have such a program. We want to make sure that it's mindful that that program is only activated in case of an emergency. Tenants can't really call us for this program. That program has to be activated by either the Department of Buildings, HCMA, that's the DC Homeland Security Emergency Management Agency, DC Fire, or the American Red Cross can contact us, and they do, to activate us for tenants. What I want to kind of make sure that everybody knows, which is new, and I'm pretty sure some of your residents some of your constituents are also talking to you about it one way or the other, is the Emergency Rental Assistance Program. Thankfully, we were able to get the program to continue because I'm pretty sure, as a lot of you know, as soon as the program opened October 1st. It literally closed October 2nd. And to be honest, what happened was we were telling some of our tenants that were calling us, we were telling them that it would be a good idea to test out the site come 12/01, October 1st. And we got a number of tenants who did just that. And they were able to get into the site before it closed because it actually ran out of money the same day that it opened. But the good news is that instead of nixing the program and getting rid of it, DHS and others and other stakeholders were able to keep the program on kind of a quarterly, if you will, basis. So these are the dates. And I sent you, Commissioner Pedro, I sent you a copy of this of the presentation. But as you see, January 1st, it opens again, April 1st, and July 1st. And we recommend that if people are looking for rental assistance, that they do the same thing that we recommended to people before October 1st. And that is to basically, if they have the ability, try their best to log on and get the application in as soon as the clock strikes. That's all we can say about that. Again, if any of you or if your tenants, your constituents have any questions or concerns, they can definitely contact us at 202-719-6560. I'll stop sharing. If you have any questions for us or for me.
All right, members of the commission, questions for Mr. Lucas? The Office of the Tenant Advocate. Seeing none, any questions from members of the community, please use the raise your hand feature, or if you're on the phone, use *69. Questions?
Can I suggest one thing? I didn't mean to cut you off. Can I suggest one thing? Because one of the programs that I've been doing in Ward 8, and I think it is having a little bit of success, or as much as it can at this point, given the other factors. We're seeing that with some of these tenant associations that are actually forming. I heard you all talking about the walks. As the tenant association, some of the tenant associations, and I have to commend them. They're taking it upon themselves to actually do those walks as groups in those later hours. And because I actually agree that that's maybe when the light needs to be turned up to keep some of the stuff, out of the way. But so we are really trying to push for more stronger tenant associations. If you can compel some of your constituents to at least look into this, that may even help them with their public safety. Because I look at it like this, I'm a Marine. I know that people with nefarious intentions cannot operate in too much daylight. And when everybody knows everybody, when people are recognizing everybody, when people know people's names, it's very difficult for people with those intentions to do anything in their community. You're not going to necessarily stop someone who wants to commit crime, but you can basically deter them from doing it in their own communities. Unfortunately, I just heard something last evening at the hearing they were having that kind of brought me around to maybe why we're missing the point. And that was one of the violence interrupters saying that the youth nowadays, unfortunately, has gotten to a point where they're not afraid to be locked up. They're not afraid to die. That their biggest fear is living and having to cope with all the different challenges that they're living under, with either work or education or housing and things of this nature. And I would just implore you that maybe, we may have to look into those types of things as well. Because that was, last time that I actually heard someone put anything like that was actually in Kuwait. That's my soapbox.
Mr. Lucas, there is a question in the chat for you. Is the HOA training for tenants who live in a co-op, Or is there training for tenants that live in co-op?
Tenants that live in a co-op can associate. And yes, we will train those tenants that live in co-ops. We will train those tenants that live in condominiums, that live in condominium buildings. There are, it may be a little bit more challenging depending on the kind of environment you're living under. But like I just did one I did one today, and like I recommended to the tenants. One of their questions was, the landlord wants to sit in on some of the meetings. Well, I just let them know it's like this: if the landlord is not charging you a deposit, honestly, invite them to your meeting. What will end up happening is they'll leave because it's not going to be about them.
Okay, I don't see any other questions for you, Mr. Lucas. We appreciate the help that your agency provides to the tenants in multifamily buildings in our jurisdiction. And we certainly welcome you back in the future if you have anything else that you'd like to share with our constituents.
Well, even in your area, we work with a lot of tenants that are renting houses or renting rooms as well, or roommates as well, and they can also associate.
Okay, great. Well, thank you very much for the presentation. We appreciate it, and we wish you a good night and a great holiday.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. You all have a good night. Bye-bye.
All right, moving on to the S Street revitalization project that a number of people have mentioned. I know that Abdullahi Mohammed from DDOT is here. I'm going to promote him to panelist. Anyone else from DDOT that's presenting, please use the raise your hand function so we can promote you to panelist. Art Arias. And Jarrell Johnson. Okay. Right, so someone is sharing the presentation, so please identify yourselves for the record.
Yes, good evening, and this is Abdullahi Mohammed with DDOT. Can you hear me?
Yes, we can.
Okay, I have our presentation on the slide, on the screen. Can you see it?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. Thank you. Thank you for having us. My name is again Abdullahi Mohammed. I'm with DDOT and I'm the project manager. Tonight I have a project team with me. So what we're gonna do is, this is the final stage of the project, which we started back in 2020, well, before we started the design. And now we are doing the final stage, which is the construction. So we're gonna present it to you, well, our agenda and how we're gonna approach the project and the team that will do it and what impact it will have and how we're gonna minimize that impact and how long it will take the project and how we're gonna communicate during the construction and the tools that we're gonna be using. Okay.
I can help you, Abdullahi. Just say next slide and I can just do the next slide. Yes.
Yeah, thank you. I'm good. So here is, I say project team, which consists is, let me go to the agenda. The project team, purpose of the meeting, project area, project objective, project activity, the corridors that for the improvement, and project timeline, what to expect during construction, and the construction sequence, safety and maintenance of traffic, and project contact information. Project team consists of course, DDOT team, and also we have a consultant, HNTB, who are assistant DDOT for construction management. And also we have Tina Boyd, a team who will be assisting with the public engagement and community outreach. And Capital Paving Construction, who will be the prime contractors and their subcontractors. HNTB team, Art, who is the construction manager, who will be overseeing day-to-day, and he will be on site with his team. And Stacy and Gerald will assist us public engagement or community. Now, this is the rendering for the corridor or the project limit. On S Street, it starts from 7 and it ends on Florida Avenue Northwest. And the other section is 6th Street from Rhode Island to S Street, or across the S Street. What is the project objective? Why are we doing this project? What we try to improve? As you're aware, some of you, before we start the design, we had public meeting, did that sponsor it, and we solicited community input, and we get good chunk, 50 plus comment, plus the engineering study that was done back in 2013, and verification for that study, which what the engineers have done. So the main thing is to improve safety and make a compliance with ADA on the sidewalk and the intersections where we are putting new ramps. Also enhancing pedestrian connectivity, discourage speeding, that's one of the issues, and upgrading sidewalk to ADA standard, improving crosswalk lighting, curb, pavement, and walkway, and add a green space on the area. Some of the trees and some blocks are already healthy, and we're not touching on those, but we are adding where it's missing or where it's closed driveway and the sidewalk, the curb has to close it, then we will put wherever that we need to put trees. Now, some of the activities I mentioned will be ADA compliance. In order to be ADA compliance, you have to put the sidewalk and also the ramps on the corners. One of the main features is we're widening the sidewalk. As you know, the sidewalk currently is not ADA compliance. There is some poles that's sitting in the middle of the sidewalk, and that will not allow somebody with a handicap or even people with the stroller, the kids can go through it. Next one, we will do the crosswalks, which we are addressing on mainly when we put the bulb out on the corners, it will reduce the roadway or the crossing. And we are also adding visible striping. And of course, we're paving the roadway before we stripe. In addition to that, we're also upgrading rehabbing the street lights and resetting some of the pavers. In addition to that, we're also upgrading the traffic signals at the intersections where you currently have a signal, and we're improving also the area that we are closing right at the New Jersey and S Street. In addition to that, we're adding green space in order to help us to help with the green, especially the area that we are closing, that triangle, and also between Fifth and New Jersey. Also, we are adding bioretention in order for water quality. It is something mandated by DOE, and there's not many, but we have to capture the runoff before they go into sewer line, and this bioretention will help that. In addition to that, when we start the design, we have contacted utility companies and also DC Water, and they upgraded some of their work, mainly Washington Gas, and also Pepco did a line on undergrounding on New Jersey Avenue between Rhode Island and Florida. In addition to that, as part of this project, DC Water is teaming up with DDOT, and we are upgrading the water main that runs on both S Street and 6th Street, and also stormwater lines we're upgrading. Currently, there is a combined sewer, but when we did the analysis, it was not adequate. And when it rains, and it was overflowing, and since it's combined, it may have odor too. So we increased the size of the lines, and also we're adding some manholes for maintenance purpose and connect pipes to capture the runoff. Now, what to expect during construction? It's going to be impact. I'm not denying that it will be, and we are mindful also the community and the resident has been subjected to construction for a long time, whether it's DC Water or utility companies. And based on that, we will do everything possible, humanly possible, to minimize the impact. There's going to be impact. So what we did was 6th Street is primary artery, and it affects rush hour. So the work will be only 9:30 a.m. to 3:30. And on S Street, they're gonna start working on 8 to 5 p.m. During construction, one lane of traffic will be maintained on each direction, excepted only one section, which we will get to it down. Saturday work is only as needed, and it has to be approved by DDOT prior the work to be done, and no Sunday work. Construction sequence, as we mentioned it initially, we will do the utility work, which is the wet utility, water, and the sewer, and it will start at Rhode Island and 6th Street. The reason we're starting over there is that's where we're tying into, and we need to find good tying it before we run a line and find out that it's not going to work. But we have coordinated with DC Water, and we are confident that we will accomplish. But that's the reason we're starting on 6th Street. And that includes the storm and then water, and that includes both S Street and 6th Street. In phase 2, we will do the sidewalk, curb and gutter driveways, and in the phase 3 will be the traffic signal and street light. That can be, I think maybe is phase 2, maybe also in conjunction with phase 2, we will do street light and traffic signal. Since the sidewalk will affect it, we don't want to do brand new sidewalk and then come back and cut it when we're doing. So we will do the underground conduit and the base of the signal and the street light. And the phase 4 will be paving, striping, and signage. And the last will be the landscaping and the fire retention. Sorry. One of the things we added on this project is to make sure that we accommodated the pedestrian and the resident access all the time. And safe accommodation also is law that the council passed it. So as you can see, that will allow the resident, instead of crossing and going the other side, we will keep them on the side while still work going on. But if we're working on the sidewalk, we will allow them to walk. We will create a walk on the roadway, so they don't have to cross it. And we will provide access to all the rest of entrances, the houses. Now, the public outreach, what we've done so far, I think, Gerald, are you on the call?
Yes, I'm here.
Can you talk on what we've done so far?
And so far we have created a new website. I'll share that in the chat. The new project website, which is different from the design phase site. We've distributed notifications to all of the properties within the footprint of the construction site. So you all should have seen some door knockers and notifications at your residence. And we'll continue to stay in touch and provide updates via the website. And then also we've been receiving some sign-ups for notifications from the community. So been having positive feedback so far, and we look forward to having a successful project.
Thank you. In addition to that, what we will do is we're gonna project schedule and any update, we will post it on the website. We will also send it bi-weekly progress, which will tell you what was done the last 2 weeks and what we are planning to do the next 2 weeks, the 2-week look ahead. In addition to that, we have, as I say, we have a full time office close by the project, which we will provide you the phone number of the field office, but also you can leave message on the website. And construction, we initiated the construction on November 6th for the contractors to start prep work, pre-construction activity we call, which includes taking pictures on the existing condition and also taking video on the sidewalks and in front of the houses, fences, to make sure that the current condition is captured in case during the construction we get complaint or somebody damaged somebody's property. We need to have documentation we can go back. I will also encourage the resident to do video on their houses, because we're not allowed or we cannot direct the contractors to go inside private property and take pictures or video. But to protect yourself, because sometimes when we're demolishing the sidewalk or the roadway, it is creating vibration to the houses. We try to minimize it, but to be proactive, I would recommend it also you do take pictures on your walls, especially the one facing on the roadway, and your steps and your yard. So we will capture outside, but you can do also inside. So the construction will be started on November 6th. Right now we are doing on surveyors, layouts, and taking inventory on the existing conditions. And also we are approving the contractor's material submittal. And also we look, because of the holidays coming, we're not anticipating until the Thanksgiving, the week after Thanksgiving, that is when they're gonna start the work on 6th Street. Now, in order for the contact information, again, my name is Abdullahi Mohammed. I'm the project manager. And this is my email address. And my phone number also is my cell number 202-531-7563. And then project manager, Art, what's your cell number?
I do have a cell number. Let me share it with you guys. I'm gonna put it in the chat.
Okay, good.
And I just want to say that we are out there, and if there's any like pressing issues that you guys might have, everything from trash can placement to having a birthday party to just questions, please go ahead and reach out. And you know, no question is too silly. We really want to establish good relationships with the community, and so we want to just be as good neighbors as we can. So that is my number, and this is my email, I guess, again.
The email is already here.
It's in the chat.
Yep, thank you.
Sure.
Okay, that's all we have tonight. Thank you. Any questions?
Great. Questions from commissioners?
Thanks for presenting, Abdullahi. Tony Brown here.
Hi, Tony.
We've been waiting for this a long time. Thank you.
Thank you.
So I have one question, Abdullahi.
Sure.
The post office in the area that cut through Perez Street that's going to be closed between New Jersey and Florida Avenue. How are they going to handle the trucks? I know that was a question in the public meeting, and I don't recall what the resolution was.
Yeah, good question. Yes, as you're aware that you pointed out early on that we need to focus that area. And we did. We reached the post office. We did the walkthrough, and they can have access from Florida for entrance, and their trucks that delivers will fit in the area. The question was whether to close it on the triangle where we're closing, and they say they cannot leave with a closure on that. So we're maintaining that. They can come out and make it right, but they cannot go through. So we accommodate them, and they are okay, and we will coordinate during the construction. And this will be the last phase or the last item that we're gonna do.
Okay, thank you for answering that burning question of mine. I don't see any other questions from members of the commission. Any questions from members of the community? Please use the raise your hand feature or *69 if you're on the phone. Any questions about the S Street revitalization project? There's one comment in the chat. Please have construction teams pick up all items used to include sandbags. Yeah, no, I've often seen after major projects like this, there's a lot of stuff that gets left down, signage, sandbags that were holding up, signs, etc. So I guess the suggestion or the request is to please make sure to take everything with you when you're done.
That's a good point, and we are mindful to that. That's why we have, what do you call it, punch lists, and we don't close the project until they dismantle it. All the temporary signs and all the barrels and sand bags and sand barrels. So we will do the walkthrough. That's why we do the final walkthrough. And we will welcome the community and the ANC commissioners before we close it and let the contractors go.
All right, that looks like those are the only comments and questions. Thank you very much for bringing us up to speed. I know the community has been waiting decades
Yes.
for these improvements to happen ever since the 1960s, when the freeway was supposed to go down S Street. S Street was supposed to be an on-ramp and off-ramp on the freeway, and that's why they messed up those couple blocks. But lo and behold, finally getting that done. And thank you to lifelong resident of the block, Gretchen Warden, for all her advocacy and her efforts over multiple mayoral administrations making this happen.
Thank you very much, and thank you for all your help during the design phase and the good feedback. And we will continue with that, and hopefully we will complete this project successfully. And
we look forward to 2025 when it's all over.
yes.
All right. Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Thank you.
You got it. All right. Moving on. So we've got 1606 7th Street Northwest. This is a BZA case. Let's see. And yes, we have Todd Cuba here. Let's bring him up. So this is a request for support for a special exception to allow construction that will facilitate the use of the second floor of Jake's Tavern, which currently is not being used. So Todd, please introduce yourself and move forward with your presentation. Are you there? You need to unmute.
There I am. I think I'm there in.
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
In vision and voice. Thank you, guys. Yes. So I've owned Jake's Tavern, my wife and I, since 2019. We opened. Always intended to have the second floor as a overflow space, event space, etc. Been a couple of starts and stops throughout the way, but the most recent was that we needed to create a second egress for the second floor to be a contiguous space. So that was the addition of the stairs coming off the back of the building. That increased our buildable area by a few percentage points, which you guys have all reviewed. And we're looking to complete this project in the first quarter of 24, hopefully. And with your support, get this thing started. So that's what I've got, and open to any questions.
All right.
Alex, do you want me to say something?
Yes, Commissioner Nigro, you will present the report from your committee.
Yes, so we had a wonderful meeting last night with Todd, and what we're talking about the stairs, but we're talking about lot occupancy, and where is it here? Boop. So what Todd is requesting for the special exception is currently the lot occupancy is 65.5%. With the stairs, it'll increase the lot occupancy to 68%. So this is the exception that he is requesting with this stairs. And so at our meeting last night, we had, let's see here, 1 second. I'm sorry. We had we had 7 attendees, and all 7 people were for the special exception, so that we had no problems with it.
All right, thank you very much. Commissioners, any questions for the applicant about this request for support for the special exception from the Board of Zoning Adjustment? I don't see any there. Any questions or comments from members of the community? Please use the raise your hand feature or *69 if you're on the phone. Don't see any comments there. This is located in my single member district, and I certainly do support the application. So I'll move that the commission support the application for special exception to allow an increase in the, I'm sorry, I'm blanking out now here.
Occupancy,
Lot occupancy, thank you.
to 68%.
At 1606 7th Street Northwest to 68%, and that we communicate that support to the Board of Zoning Adjustment. That's for a second.
I second.
Been properly moved and seconded, moved by myself, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Aye.
Unanimous, 600. Thank you very much. Thank you, Todd, for your presentation, and we look forward to seeing the second floor of Jake's Tavern being able to be used as you had originally intended.
Thank you, everybody.
All right. Thank you very much. Have a good night and good holiday.
You too. Everyone too.
So we do have one other zoning related item, Commissioner Nigro. This is the 501 New York Avenue issue. Do you want me to make a motion for you, or?
And let me give a brief update to the crowd that might not know that's left on the other side. So I did do the appeal for the permit for 501 New York Avenue, and zoning basically accepted my application. So just very surprising. And so it is a huge deal. There will be a hearing. There's 2 dates depending on their schedules. It's either going to be February 7th or March 13th. So I asked Alex and I just to do an official vote that I be the lead for the commission. But more news to come, because this is I was tickled and surprised, and things are moving forward. We might not get the result we want, but this is certainly an unexpected step that has worked out in our favor. So we'll see what happens.
And for folks that may be scratching their heads and thinking this is too inside baseball, so this is related to a proposal to convert the police building at 501 New York Avenue into a temporary central lockup or central jail facility for the Metropolitan Police Department during the renovation of the Daily building down on Judiciary Square.
And we like to use the term jail now, because that is the term that they use. And I was told not to use that term jail. Well, guess what? I'm going to use it because it's all on their document, jail. And it's probably, if it does come, it'll probably be permanent. So that's why we're fighting this. So we'll see.
And again, the community was blindsided by the district government. Were it not for Commissioner Nigro's diligent reviewing of permits, we would never even known about it until it was well underway. So I'm going to make a motion that ANC 2G designate Commissioner Nigro as the commission's representative for the appeal of the 501 New York Avenue permits before the Board of Zoning Adjustment. I would ask for a second.
Second.
Okay, a motion made by myself, seconded by Commissioner McCarty. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
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 That's unanimous, 600. Thank you very much. Moving on to 1604 7th Street Northwest. This is a new liquor license application for Luan Mitt LLC, trading as Ban Mai. We have a representative, Matt Menora. So this is the space that was most recently Hanuman. It's actually still going to be a Laotian restaurant, same chef owner, but new concept and a new liquor license. But all the same provisions of the settlement agreement are being retained. So Waiting for Mr. Menorah to come over. There he goes.
Hello.
Good evening.
Hi, thanks for the introduction, Commissioner Pedro. My name is Matt Menorah. I'm from the law firm of Malleus O'Brien and Sandground, and we're ABC licensed counsel for Loom Mitt LLC. This is a retailer's Class C restaurant license, as Commissioner Pedro said, going into the same space that it was most recently Humanum, and it's essentially the same concept, but with more of a focus on sharing dishes and a food-centric menu with a smaller cocktail program. The inside capacity we're seeking is 30. We're also seeking a capacity of 30, excuse me, on the outside in the rear summer garden for a total occupancy load of 70. That's the seating inside, outside, plus standing room. And the hours we're seeking for the inside and outside for operations and sales of alcohol are from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. And as Commissioner Pedro noted, we have a settlement agreement that's essentially the same as the last one, just with some updates since there's new allowances for liquor licenses post-COVID. And looking forward to reopening and being part of the community again.
Thank you. Could you just run through the hours again, just so everybody
Sure.
can take note of that?
It's 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. Daily.
Great.
And because the space is basically ready to go again, we are asking for the ANC support for a stipulated ABC license.
All right. Questions from members of the commission?
So was it there before? You just mentioned reopened.
So it was the same LLC name, but it was a different concept. It was also another Laotian concept. It was Hanuman, and I believe it was opened up. Yeah, and then after the pandemic happened, it never quite reopened again, but the space stayed, and they're ready to reopen with this new concept, which is
okay.
similar.
All right. Questions? Yes, Rhonda Watkins.
Did you say it would be 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. daily? Is that 7 days a week?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Okay. Any questions from members of the community? Please use the raise your hand function or star 69 if you're on the phone. Questions about the application for a liquor license for a Laotian restaurant at 1606 7th Street Northwest. And I don't see any hands. This is in my single member district, and I do support this. Looking forward to having Laotian food as an option in our neighborhood again. So I'll go ahead and make a motion that ANC 2G support the application by Loom Mitt LLC, trading as Bon Mai at 1606. Excuse me, 1604 7th Street Northwest. And that we also support a stipulated license for this establishment. And then we report our support for both stipulated and permanent licenses to APCA. And I would ask for a second.
Second.
I'll give that one to Commissioner Watkins. Motion made by myself. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Commissioner Magro? Yeah, you're muted.
Aye.
Thank you. That's unanimous 6-0-0. Thank you very much, Mr. Menorah. We will be executing the settlement agreement and submitting our correspondence to APCA in support of this application.
Thank you so much. We always appreciate the support.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Have a good night and happy holiday. And our second ABC item tonight is Union Kitchen Grocery. I see Cullen Gilchrist, CEO of Union Kitchen. So this is at 1251 9th Street Northwest. And welcome, Mr. Gilchrist.
Hey there, how are you? Thanks for having me.
Great. So, again, this is a Class B retail grocery license. Anything that you'd like to share about your current operations and any plans for the future for this location?
Yeah, absolutely. So this is a renewal of our current license for off-premise beer and wine sales. So we're just going to continue what we have been doing. As many of you guys know, we operate a corner grocery store at 9th and N Street, and we'll just be continuing our operations as it has been going on for the last 6 years, since 2017.
Great. In terms of investigative history, the only items were from 2020. There was one instance of no ABC manager on duty and a failure to post a warning sign. Any response to that?
Yeah, absolutely. You know, we had some issue with the manager. We corrected the issue, implemented some new policies after doing a full review with ABRA, and have not had any incidents.
Great. Any questions from members of the commission? Yes, Commissioner McCarty.
So I will say that I'm a little disturbed that you mentioned you would keep operations the same while you currently have 8 open NLRB cases against Union Kitchen and more than 10 over the past 2 years. So I would really like to hear about what ongoing unionization efforts are taking place at Union Kitchen, and if you would make any comment on all of those active NLRB cases that you are involved in.
Sure. Yeah, we don't have any active cases open against us currently, though. I do know that a group, the UFCW, did file some charges, as they've done many so in the past. For you that are familiar with what Mr. Stephen is speaking about, in 2022, a union was formed within our stores, and there have been some charges filed against us, of which we have not been guilty of any so far. But importantly, our staff petitioned to remove the union in July of this year, and then they held an election, and 92% asked to remove the union. But that's kind of unrelated to kind of the question at hand here. Of course, we treat our staff well, do well by them, and are running a good operation. We like to continue to do so. And having a beer and wine license is critically important to the continued operations of our store, the employment of our team, and being a part of our community.
All right, any other questions from members of the commission? Questions from members of the community? Use the raise your hand feature or *69 if you're on the phone. Don't see any questions here. Commissioner Barry, this is in your single member district.
I see Commissioner Watkins has her hand raised though.
Oh, I'm sorry. Is that a legacy hand or is it another question, Commissioner Watkins?
That is another question. It is another question. Commissioner McCarty raised a couple of questions, and I still don't understand because I still don't feel that I got an answer to either of his questions. What does it mean by, yeah, you're going to have business as usual, but you have all these outstanding complaints, or you had 8 cases against you or something? So I still don't understand what is business as usual.
So Ms. Watkins, happy to answer all these questions. So what Mr. McCarty is referring to was a union and employment notes. So that's the extent of that. It has nothing to do with our ABRA license or our beer and wine license.
But I think the more important thing is that the employees of the union voted to terminate the union, correct?
Yeah, 92% voted to do so. You know, I don't want to get super into all these things right here because I'm not sure it's the appropriate venue, but basically there was a group of individuals that, you know, have filed a number of charges somewhat frivolously against the company, and they've lied about those things for 2 years. My staff, given the first opportunity they could, voted out the union. And we're, of course, moving forward. There's significant kind of processes with NLRB and other things. But the most important thing to us, guys, is we want to operate our store. We want to be a part of the community. We want to employ our people. We want to take care of them, continue paying above average wages, continue taking care of our team. And it's critically important for that to happen, for us to have our beer and wine license.
Thank you.
But I certainly, Miss Watkins and whomever else, I welcome you to come to the store, meet with myself, meet with our team, speak with them about what's going on. I know we did have some folks that were outside and sharing lies and other kind of misinformation about what was happening, but the people in our team are all very happy to be here and would love to continue being employed.
All right, Commissioner Berry.
No, I didn't have a question. I was going to, if anyone doesn't have anything else to say, I was going to make a motion that ANC2G support renewal of Class B grocery for this APCA license with tasting endorsement for Union Kitchen at 1251 9th Street Northwest.
And from the amendment that we report that to APCA.
What? I'm sorry, what?
Friendly amendment, and that we report that
Yes.
APCA.
Yeah. And that we report that to APCA.
Is there a second? Okay, motion made by Commissioner Berry, seconded by Commissioner Brown. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any nays?
Nay.
Any abstentions? So that's 5-1-0, motion passes. Thank you very much, Mr. Gilchrist, for your patience in waiting for all of our other business to be transacted, and we will be getting our letter of support off to APCA.
Great, thank you. I appreciate you folks and your time tonight, and for having me, and for helping us move forward and continue our business.
All right, thank you. Have a good evening.
Y'all take care.
Bye now. All right. That is the last piece of non-administrative business for our meeting tonight. So we move on to administrative matters, beginning with approval of minutes of the October the 12th, 2023 meeting. Someone like to make a motion to approve the minutes with any corrections submitted to our recorder?
So moved.
Is there a second?
I second.
Second.
Motion by Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none. All in favor, please signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
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 That's unanimous, 6-0-0. Thank you very much. Commissioner Brown, approval expenses and quarterly report.
Okay. Whole lot here. The Office of ANC sent out our fourth quarter financial report, and it's been shared with Alex and myself, and I'd just like to move that ANC2G approves the fourth quarter fiscal year 2023 quarterly financial report. I will sign it, and Alex will sign it, and look forward to them.
Is there a second to the motion?
Wait, can't you send it to all of us?
I can.
Yeah.
Okay. It's a standard form. Okay.
Can you pull it up, share it on the screen?
I've never done this.
Oh.
Let me try.
Yeah, if you open the document and then hit share screen, that green button on the bottom.
Okay.
Select the document and share. Then.
Okay, hold on.
Maybe Tony, like in the future when we're voting on this, just to like kind of just send it ahead of time to all of us.
Okay, hold on. And why is it not coming up? Okay, coming. Okay, come back to you. Where are you? Oh, shucks.
So if you've got the document open, hit the green share screen button, and
Okay.
then select it, select the document, and then hit share.
Got the document open. Now getting back to.
So go down to the green button on the bottom of the screen.
I had to get back to Zoom. Don't I have to get back to Zoom first?
Yeah, in Zoom, you see the share
Okay,
screen button.
Okay. Here we go.
There you go.
Okay. This captures, I think, all the activity through the first week of September. There's a second part to this too. So this is what we have captured already, but I'm going to go through all of this. So based on the codes 1 through 9, everything is captured, and it gives you the full amount that has been expended, and again comes up with a ending balance. Of course, that doesn't correlate with what's in the bank and what's cleared and what hasn't cleared. Okay, let me pull up the second document. It just gives you all of the items that have been transacted this period along with the codes. Okay, but I can send it all to you shortly.
Yeah, please do share it in future, as Commissioner Nigro suggested, share it in advance.
Gotcha. Okay, stop sharing.
So there's a motion on the floor. Is there a second to approve the fourth quarterly report for FY23?
A second.
Okay.
Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hand. Aye.
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 I'm trying to get back to you. This is crazy. Okay, stop.
Yeah, I didn't hear Commissioner McCarty. Stephen, are you still there?
Yes, sorry, hand raised.
Thank
Alex,
you.
Alex can take it down.
Okay, please.
Yeah.
All right. Just along with that, we have only received half the money for the year. Once we submit the quarterly report, they'll submit the other, I believe, $7,992.23. So we will have money in our coffers.
So Tony, when did they say that would take place?
As soon as they get the quarterly report straightened out, and they'll put in the request. Trying to get to the money part is always taking a whole bunch of time. Well, I don't know what reason.
Understood. I really can understand that, as you know. But here's my thing, because maybe in December, I mean, I haven't done my research yet about the hearing, and if we're going to have a substantial amount of money to potentially have some official legal help. I know, Alex, you mentioned, remember that I'm going to go back to the Office of ANC, but I'm sure it'll be a non-starter there, I can assume.
And
So
it'll be sufficient money.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we'll have almost $8,000.
Very good. Thank you.
Going forward to next fiscal year, instead of I think it was 15,000, I wrote it down, whatever it is. It went up by $320. So it's going to $16,045.75 for the next fiscal year.
Oh, another bucks.
Oh, Lord. Okay, so let me go through the expenses for this month. I have the Zoom charge. I'd like to make a motion. I'd like to move that ANC 2G approve the credit card charge of $100.69 for the Zoom for this month. That was charged on 11/2.
Is there a second? A motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Berry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
Okay.
Unanimous, 600. Thank you very much.
Okay. I'd also like to make a to move that ANC 2G approve the credit card charge for postage for mailing Karen Yaley's checks to her in the amount of $9.65. That was on October 16th.
Is there a second?
Was that overnight? What was it, $9?
It was 2 days.
Okay.
Mhm.
Motion made by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Berry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Thank you.
Unanimous.
Okay.
6-0. Thank you very much.
Okay. And then I'd like to move that ANC 2G approve the expense for minutes and website maintenance by Karen Yaley in the amount of $275 for November.
Is there a second?
I second.
Motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raise your hand. Aye.
Aye.
Okay.
Unanimous. 6-0.
Okay, that's the 3 expenses for this month. I'm gonna send to you, we had spoke about last month, the proposed budget for 2024. I'll send you I'll share it with all the people. I did, as I said we were gonna do, just basically move everything forward, but we have extra money. So I'm just lumping that at the bottom and we can decide how we're gonna distribute it. Okay, money. Our bank account at FBC Bank, statement ending 10/31/23. The opening balance was $2,381.67. We had the Zoom charge last month of $100.69. We had the U.S. Postal Service of $9.65. We also have 5 checks that were paid out and cashed. $275 for 1, 2, 3, 4 checks for Karen Yaley, and 1 check for $234.05 for the GoDaddy account with Commissioner McCarty. The ending balance was $937.28. This month, we have the same charge for the Zoom on November 2nd in the amount of $169. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 outstanding checks that have not been cashed in the amount. Pardon me?
I just went, oh.
Oh, yes. We have 5 checks that have not been cashed to the tune of $282.77. Our remaining balance after those pending deductions is now $553.82.
Right. Are you going to make a motion to accept the treasurer's report?
Yeah, I'd like to make a motion that ANC 2G accept and approve the quarterly report for 2023 4th quarter.
Is that, now just wanted to clarify. So what did we approve?
I thought, yeah, did I miss it? Because I thought we already did the quarterly report.
Yes, you did the quarterly report. This is just accepting the treasurer's report.
Okay, accepting the treasurer's report. He threw me off. Okay. All right, but that's the report. Everybody should have gotten a copy of that, so you have the numbers.
So Commissioner Brown's motion, did you still second that, Commissioner Berry? All right. So motion, yeah. Commissioner Brown, second by Commissioner Berry. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye and raising your hands. Aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. 6-0. Thank you very much.
Thank you. That's it.
All right. With that concludes our business. Our next meeting is scheduled to take place on December the 14th, 2023 at 6:30 p.m. via Zoom. Agenda and login information will be posted at our website at anc2g.org. And I would welcome a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Is there a second?
Second.
A motion by Commissioner Brown, seconded by Commissioner Nigro. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye. Raising your hand.
Aye.
Aye. Yes. So that's unanimous. 6-0. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Thank you, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you, members of the public. Have a very happy Thanksgiving. And this meeting is adjourned.
And I'll send those reports to you shortly.
Bye-bye.
Okay, everyone stay safe. Bye. Bye.
Enjoy.